We want you to have fabulous furniture that looks good, but it's got to be kind to the planet. So I'm going to talk to you about some of the ways in which Scaramanga reduces our waste, and we make sure that we're eco-friendly and that we are using sustainable materials. We've got to make sure that the amount of destruction to communities and to the planet is greatly reduced. So to start with, we make sure that all of the metal that we use is recycled metal. So metal for these newly made tins and pots, for example, comes from old sheds. It will come from industrial buildings. It even comes from cars and anything which can be recycled by our makers in India. Just looking, these are some classic items as well. So these are planters that we've made, and they are literally half a bucket. It's an old bucket, maybe it's got a hole in the bottom. We cut it in half, we back it with some old galvanized metal again, put a base on it, and then it becomes a planter. And from one bucket we can get 2 planters like this. What else have we got? Oh yes, these picture frames have been made. So these are 3D frames. You can see that we put keys inside them. So these are made from recycled teak. So it's great quality wood, but the wood comes from old lorries. So in the wagons or the lorries at the back, they used to be made with teak, which is a strong, durable wood. And when the lorries come to the end of their life and can't be used anymore, then the wood is recycled. And I'll just show you a little bit more of what we're doing here. We use jute, which is a super material really. It's completely 100% biodegradable. When it's growing, it's sown by hand. It's sown in wet fields. It takes just 4 to 6 months to get to maturity. It doesn't need any chemical or any artificial intervention at all. So there's no fertilizers, no pesticides. It doesn't need to be irrigated at all. So it's an amazing plant. That every year a new crop is harvested, and even when it's harvested by hand. So there's then no need for big, expensive, energy-using machinery to cut the jute, and obviously it can be harvested and it can be spun by hand as well. So we use it for these rugs, which are made exclusively for us. You can see we keep the natural color of the rug, and we just give it a little bit of decoration at the edges there. So that's jute. One of our new materials. And then the last item, which is used for our journals. So we have leather journals, and often much of the leather that we use is recycled leather. So this leather comes from old journals, from older ledgers that were used by merchants in India. And then for the paper itself, the paper which is inside, which is a beautifully textured paper, you can see there, that paper comes from the textile industry in India. So where they have offcuts or excess cotton material, that gets pulped down and it then gets turned into paper, paper sheets, thin paper sheets, and it's reused in our journals here. So you can see here how we're making sure that we use sustainable materials, and we use materials that can be recycled, and generally materials that use far lower energy to make sure that we are eco-friendly and that we're not contributing to this destruction of the environment.